Brian. On this podcast, we'll talk about law enforcement, social media platforms, and just life. So today I've got three pretty good topics. Just the news itself, just things going on in the United States and the world are just ammo enough. So I'll start it off with the easy one. Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google all went before a hearing in Washington. And now I don't think they actually showed up in person. I'm sure it was on Zoom like everything else is done right now. But they have specific complaints with each of these giants in the media industry and in sales, which I find hilarious. It's as if they're saying, we want you to do good in the United States. We want you to lead. We want you to be ahead of everybody. But don't do too good. And if you don't do it like we like it, don't do it. So what this comes down to, we'll just start out with Amazon. Bezos has grown that thing into a monster. And so their biggest complaint now is that they're dominating the industry selling stuff, and the ads they're showing on their site, on Amazon's site, are leading people, and they act like they're misleading people to buy this stuff. Well, everybody advertises. And just because they're not advertising what you want them to advertise, it's wrong, or you're advertising them to buy more stuff, here's the deal. They grew it. It's a monster. Everybody uses it. But now you're upset with it because he's making so much money off of it. Well, it's called free trade. The guy can do this if he wants. I just don't understand what their issue is with somebody like Amazon putting ads on their website and selling you stuff that you probably don't need anyway. Well, isn't that the idea? Selling people a bunch of junk they don't need anyway? That's what 90% of commerce is. I don't know. These hearings always wear me out. So the Amazon, Apple, they're upset with Apple because they're dominating the industry in electronics, cell phones. Not their fault. Come out with a better product and start selling it. There's nothing that says you can't do that. But that's their gripe, that they're dominating that industry. Well, I understand that you don't want one company to dictate one entire section of retail. Well, the answer to that is come up with something that's as good or better. Samsung competes with them. I know a bunch of people with Samsung phones. You don't see Samsung up there. They're not griping at them. But we're griping at Apple because they are pointing people in the direction of Apple products. They're really pushing their stuff. It's business, people. That's the way it works. I don't get it. It's funny that if it doesn't please the Congress and the Senate, the House of Reps, and all these people, if it offends them somehow, now it's a problem. It's a problem for the whole United States. It's not just them. But so let's make a hearing so we can talk about it. I don't have a problem with Apple. Now, their phones are too expensive. Don't get me wrong, their products are very expensive. But do they make a good product? Yep. Because, everybody uses them. So the other two, Facebook and Google. Okay, well, Google is basically being hit for the same things as Amazon with all the ad stuff. So they're talking about how they're directing people with ads, with pointed ads. So, you go on and look at a new camera on Google and you zip around there. Well, then you jump over on, say, Facebook or YouTube. What ads pop up? Ads for cameras. Well, they're having a problem with this now. Well, it's been going on for years. They've had this pointed advertising for a long time. Yes, they're using your information. That was another issue with Amazon, that they can use your information. Well, they do have a policy that pops up that you either say yes or no to. And the big fear there is if you put no, you don't get the same benefit from the site. Correct, you don't. That's their site. It's their business. If you don't want to do business with them, don't. Nobody is twisting anybody's arm to do business with these people. Now, I beg you to try to do business without using Amazon or Google because they're the big hitters, but if you've got that big a problem with them, then just don't do business with them. But don't sit around and gripe about the policy that they put in place and you agreed to it and now they're utilizing it. I know this. Most people know this. Most people understand this. Now then, do I agree that sometimes it's irritating? Yeah. You don't want to see those ads popping up all the time about the same thing over and over and over and over just because you looked at it 15 minutes ago. But I'll offer you this. How many times have you flipped around and looked at several things and they pop up an ad for something and you think, oh, that's a neat little product. And you've clicked on it to check out what it was. It works. That's why they do it. It works. It's a proven system. So then we get over to Facebook and it's pretty much the same stuff. It's the way they're distributing their ads, how they're pointing them at their viewers, their people that use the website. The other thing that I found laughable is that there was a certain portion of the hearing that went after Zuckerberg, which is the creator of Facebook, which it went after Zuckerberg because he worked to point the media on that to the side of politics that he likes. He can do that. It's his website. If he wants to take down everything that's far right, far left, right up the middle, whatever, he can do that. Now then, is it going to ruffle a lot of feathers and a lot of the users are going to get mad and quit? Well, fine, quit. That's your right. What I'm saying is that business is just like your little mom and pop business downtown, and when somebody walks in with no shoes and no shirt, and you have that sign that says no shoes, no shirt, no service, and you tell them to turn around and get out, done. Okay, it's your right to do that. Well, this website is no different for him. This is his little mom and pop business. It just happens his little mom and pop business is worth billions, and so be it. The people have problems with this stuff. Just get out there and start your own website. And I was sitting there thinking about this earlier. Start a website that talks nothing but politics, and y'all can get on there and chat and blast and go after each other all you want. I would honestly prefer that. I honestly don't get on Facebook to talk about politics. Hear enough about that junk in the news. Don't want to listen to your far right side view. Don't want to listen to your far left side view. Don't want to listen to any of it. Find you a platform that just wants to talk about that so y'all can go nuts. I mean, I get on Facebook for the same reason everybody else gets on Facebook. To see goofy stories, funny videos, and memes. I mean, I know that's why we all get on there to look at it. See what's going on. Oh, it's their birthday. I mean, I don't know if anybody's on board with me, and y'all probably don't think I'm a jerk. I get tired of every day. It's about 3 people's birthday, and you're supposed to go to every one of them and wish them happy birthday. It was my birthday 3 or 4 months ago. I couldn't tell you who or who did not get on there and wish me happy birthday. I'm not offended if you didn't, but there are those that are. I know. I mean, there are those that will look through that list, and if you're not on that, why didn't you wish me happy birthday? Which I find ridiculous. I mean, I'm just not that sensitive. And that's a big part of this, is the sensitivity of it. These people are so sensitive about their politics. Well, Facebook isn't showing this, but they're showing that. And they're taking my stuff off and leaving his up. Yeah, it's his website. There's nothing in law that says, well, let's just back up. Freedom of speech, people. Freedom of speech. You can put up or take down whatever you want on these. This is still freedom of speech. It just floors me. These kind of hearings, they've had them before, and I'm sure in the end there's going to be some retribution, and all these companies are going to have to pay the government some huge chunk of money. And that's honestly what it's all about. It's a money grab. And they know these titans of industry have it, and instead of going through some long litigation in court, they're just going to pay up, shut them up, move on. We all know that's what's going to happen. It's the whole system is ridiculous. Because like I said at the first, to me, this is a deal where we promote everybody. We want you to go out and be leaders of industry. We want you to go out and make America number one. But when you're doing too good, slow down. Let the other guy get in there and get a piece of it too. What? Really? Your whole goal here is to win. And in my opinion, all four of these have won. They're winners. Apple is always producing stuff that is new and innovative. I mean, who doesn't want an iMac or a MacBook? I'd like to have one. I don't have the money to buy one, but I'd like to have one. They are a neat piece of software. I'd like to have a newer iPhone. Not going to go drop $1,000, $1,200 on one. Mine works. Good enough. But if they want to continue to work that way and people are buying it, who are you to say no? And you can all see where they're going with this. They're trying to claim these people are monopolies. And so they want to bust up the monopoly. Which, no, they're not. I mean, let's just go down the list. Apple, they've got competitors. Samsung, tons of other companies compete with Apple. There is no way in my mind that they're a monopoly. They are just the best at it. Amazon. There are other places to go buy stuff. There's other websites to go buy stuff. But they're upset because Amazon is leading this industry and nobody can really compete at their level. That doesn't make them a monopoly. Other people can compete. Just make yours better. And I honestly think they're using the ads on Amazon as an excuse to get to them somehow, to get a chunk of their money. And you know, they're using the same things on Facebook and Google. I honestly think they're looking at them as a monopoly, and they're trying to somehow dice this up so there's more money for the government out of it somehow. And they're using the ads as an excuse. Well, you know, come on. We all preach, we're the best, be the best, go out there and do all you can do, and you're free to do so. Well, apparently not. So, I mean, I just find it ridiculous. And I mean, I'll give it to these guys. They were very calm in all these interviews. They, not all the time, but most of the time, they were very calm. They give very concise answers of why things are working the way they're working. I just think we're pointed this thing in the wrong way. I mean, to me, it's just a money grab. Find it ridiculous. That's just my point of view. Okay, I'll bounce off over there into another little topic that has just came up here in the last week. They're threatening to cancel the Ellen show, and I've read through tons of articles, and the reasoning being it's just going to blow up, it's going to ruin her career, So all these articles are saying because it's a toxic work environment. Nobody really described what the toxic work environment was. I mean, is she difficult to get along with? Does she make some smart remarks you don't like? It amazes me that something like this could bring down somebody like that in entertainment simply because everybody else is so sensitive. I mean, come on. Did she say a joke you didn't like? Well, I don't know. The sensitivity of these people, it just amazes me. I mean, I don't see her physically abusing anybody. I don't know where it's coming from. I mean, because that's probably all stuff that's going to come to light later. I just find it comical that the words they use is a toxic work environment. Don't work there then. Go get another job. You don't like it, leave. Why do you have to tear everybody else down when it doesn't go your way? And that's the truth of 95% of these kind of allegations. You don't like it there, don't go there. Now, and I'm not going to say everything's that way. I understand that there's sexism and racism and a lot of things. Yeah, that needs to be brought up. That needs to be headed off. I get that. But toxic work environment. What does that mean? It's toxic because you don't like what you're having to do? Then try to get promoted. Go find another job. Don't work for them. Work for another company. It's just, it kills me when you have to tear people down so you can feel better about the job you're having to do. I mean, I laugh when I think about this. You think about coal mines back in the 1800s, early 1900s, and these guys are going down to these coal mines in horrible work conditions. And, they had supervisors. You need to put more in your cart, push that thing out. You're not getting enough coal. You're not working fast enough. Did you ever imagine anybody back then going, you're being mean to me and not them? You're not grappling at Billy, you're grappling at me. And it's just because Billy who he is. Come on. You know that crap didn't happen because you threw that kind of fit back then. Get out of my coal mine. Well, fill your position with somebody. You know, and I think a lot of industry needs to go back to that because, God, we're so soft and gentle. And I'm not saying we got to be hardcore, and we've made lots of improvements over the years. But to sit here and whine, you're working on the Ellen show. But the environment that I'm in, I'm not happy with. Change your environment. That is my biggest advice. Change your environment. You don't like the environment you're in? Work harder, do more, get a promotion to get in the position you want to get in, or find you another place to work. It's just, everybody's so kinder, gentler, and everybody's so sensitive. And we're going to get on to topic number 3. I'll probably hit on some of those others a little bit more in a bit. But topic number 3, shocking. Our local highway patrol has just figured out that within the next 2 years, half of our law enforcement workforce for the highway patrol is going to be eligible to retire. How are we just now figuring this out? You have records showing when everybody's available to retire or able to retire, and you're shocked that many of them are doing their 20 and getting out. Why are you shocked? They've done the job for 20 years. So on the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, we have a drop. We have a drop plan. We have a deferred retirement plan, which what that means is if you'll stay extra 5 years after you're 20, you'll have $250,000 in deferred retirement. Well, that sounds good on paper. And honestly, if you want to go that route, absolutely. But here's the thing, they don't tell you in the beginning, you're not going to touch that till you're 59 and a half without a penalty. And the penalty is something stupid like 33, 40%. So we're going to cut that in half for you. And I'd use $150,000. But they're shocked that the people are bailing at 20. Well, here's the situation I was in. So when I retired, I was 46 I'm going to take that back. I was 45 by 3 days when I retired. I turned 45 on the 25th, and on the 28th I retired. So here's the thing with the deferred retirement. Okay, so say I work till I was 50. I'm still going to have to wait almost 10 years to touch that money. Was that worth it? Because here's the part we were looking at. Beside the fact that my wife hated the job and she wanted me out of it, she didn't like the late hours, she didn't like me getting up in the middle of the night going to it, and just the danger of it. Because while you're in it, you don't see it like your spouses do, your kids do. You don't see the danger because you're used to being around it. But let's be honest, standing beside an interstate is very dangerous. And we're doing it 2 foot off the road, a foot off the road at somebody's car door where we have no place to run. So, yeah, you look at it now, I look at it now, it's very dangerous. Everybody always worries about you getting shot. Well, your likelihood of being shot are far less than being in a serious car accident or being run over. Now, those are still, being shot, still up there, but those are the reasons. So the interstate's doing nothing but getting busier and busier. I've said more than once, our local interstate is 4 lanes. It's going to have to go to 6. We have just got so much crazy traffic between Dallas and Oklahoma City, especially on football weekends whenever everything's normal and it's OU Texas and OSU Texas. Traffic is nuts on weekends. So my point is this. All those dangers, just those dangers. There's other dangers. Fighting and, just tons of stuff. But just those dangers at hand. If you've made it 20 years and you haven't been hit by a car, you haven't been in a bad car wreck, and you haven't been shot, are you really willing to risk the last 5 years for $250,000 that you're not going to be able to touch for another 10 years? What's going to happen in that 10 years? To me, it's just a gamble. And now if you're planning on staying in it as a long-lived career and you're going to stay 30, 35 years, yeah, that's a no-brainer. But obviously if you're staying that long, odds are, and there are the few exceptions, but odds are, you're promoting up. You're getting lieutenant, captain, major. You're getting up in those office jobs where you're not presented with that danger. You're sitting in an office telling everybody else to go get in that danger. So for those guys, yeah, of course it makes sense to stay 25, 30 years to get that extra money. Because you could work till you're 55, almost 60, and then as soon as you retire, you've got the money right there. But for somebody that never wanted to promote, that wanted to worry about number one, and I didn't want to worry about what everybody else was doing, and I would rather interact with the community than sit behind a desk in a closed door office. For somebody like that, you have to look at the dangers that are presented in front of you. And now I know that's clearly what my wife was looking at, because like I said before, the day I mentioned, hey, I'm thinking about retiring at 20, and she just matter of factly said, no, you are. I hate your job. Well, I get it. Now I really get it. I mean, since I've had time to step back and look at it, you actually see the amount of danger you are in day to day. While you're in it, you don't. And what I mean by that danger is I was talking to one of the troopers a couple of days ago that's still working, and we were sitting there talking about it, and they always ask me, how's retirement? Well, man, it's great. I do whatever I want most days. And I said, and here's the crazy thing is you'll be out for, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months. It's different for everybody. One day you'll wake up and just go, I don't have to go get in that car. I don't have to go put that uniform on. I'm not going to work a wreck. I don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. The amount of stress involved in those few things, getting called out in the middle of the night. I mean, good gosh, you go on runs where you got called out every night for a week and get 2 hours of sleep a day. Well, you know what? That stuff adds up and eventually causes lots of stress. And you don't really realize it's gone until you're out of it for a while. And then when you do realize it's gone, you're just, my gosh, this is how the other half lives. They don't live all balled up and stressed out about having to get called out in the middle of the night to go somewhere, wondering if they're going to get a full night's sleep. And that's a true deal. In Oklahoma, most places, and I'm not going to say all, I mean, I know Oklahoma City, Tulsa, really big areas, big cities, have 24-hour coverage with troopers. So you have a day or a morning shift, or a day shift, an evening shift, and a hoot shift. So you've got the entire thing covered. We tried that for a while here, and we did it for a couple of years. It works. But I'm going to tell you, in rural Oklahoma, you don't want to be on that hoot shift. Because, man, there are times in the winter, and you're on a hoot shift in rural Oklahoma, you'll sit on that interstate, and you'll see a car every 30 seconds or every minute, which that doesn't seems like a lot, but think about it. You're driving in a big city. How long was it till you saw the last car past you? Yeah, it's every 5 seconds, every 2 seconds. But when you're sitting on the interstate in the middle of the night, and there's no car for the distance you can see down the road, oh, here comes some headlights. So you watch it, well, he's not speeding. Okay, I'll wait on the next one. You talk about slow. And now if you think that's bad in the area we live in, the small area we live in, that's the interstate, the busiest part of the county. Now go out on a state highway. You might drive 2 towns and not see anybody at 3 in the morning. It's not that way everywhere, I understand that. When busier places, LA, Dallas, there's traffic all the time. But I'm telling you, rural Oklahoma working hoot shifts does not work. They finally figured that out. So we didn't do hoot shifts anymore. And what they call the hoot now might stay out till 2 or 3 in the morning. And they vary it from time to time, maybe till 4, sometimes it's till 1. Point being is those shifts wear you out. The day shift and the evening shift, I mean, it's just a normal shift. You get in at 11 o'clock at night on an evening shift. You get in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a day shift. Those weren't bad. But throwing the hoot in. But the problem here is this, is what I was getting at. You're working that day shift, and you're out the next day. Odds are you're the one on call for the night. So when that hoot shift goes in at 1 or 2 in the morning, and at 3, a crash comes out 50 miles away from you, and you're it. You get up, you get dressed, you get in your car, and you go work a wreck. And it's probably not going to be quick. You're going to drive up there, you've got to assess the wreck, the ambulance is taking the guy to the hospital, you have to wait on the wrecker, Then you have to go to the hospital, then you find he's drunk. So you get there, now you got to arrest the guy, you got to go through the whole drunk procedure, DUI procedure, and it just drags on you. And after you do it enough, I mean, yeah, it comes old hat after a while. You've done it enough that it's not as big a deal as you really think. But stepping away from it and being on this side of it, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't have to go do that anymore. And one of the funny ones, I've mentioned Daniel Arms before, and he's recently retired, early retirement, at 14 years. And it's because of he's got a full-blown career in YouTube and social media, making great money. But I was out there helping him work on something at his place, and I was getting frustrated because we weren't getting this one part done. And he goes, hey, man, at least we're not going to Rex. And he nailed it. That's right. I said, I'll come do this again tomorrow and be this frustrated. I don't have to go work Rex. And it just puts everything in perspective. You're sitting out here working, something's not going right. Well, you know what? You're not having to do that job that was really tearing on you, and only now do you see how much stress it was putting on you and your family. The part of it I'm finding funny is that the powers that be are just now seeing that retiring now and early retirement are a real possibility for a lot of these people as other opportunities come at them. And the fact that many of them are just going to retire out at a normal age, at 20 years or 25 years, oh, now we've got a problem. We may only have half of the force that we need. Yeah, that's called not looking down the road, not planning properly there, guys. So guys, I'm going to wrap this one up here. These were 3 topics that I came across this week. I thought they'd be good topics. I'm going to apologize as I normally do when I'm running late. I'm a day late. I know. Things happen. Birthday parties, softball games, things like that come up that I need to go do. Wasn't aware of them until too late, whenever I thought, oh no, I've got to go do that tonight too, and I don't have a podcast done. So I'm here today, I've got it done. And just like everybody else, that's just an excuse. I just wasn't as diligent as I needed to be to stay on top of things. I should have got it done earlier. I mean, that's just the truth of it. So guys, that's going to be about it for this week. If you guys haven't gone over and checked me out at Smokey CNC Woodworks, run over there and check it out. I'm always doing things every week on it. Usually very new things. I mean, stuff I had never done before. Some of the stuff you may have seen before, but I'll put my own spin on it. So you guys run over there and check out Smokey CNC Woodworks. If you hadn't checked out Smokey Uncuffed on my website, on YouTube that's watching right now, and on my podcast, go check them out and see if it's something you'd be interested in subscribing to and watching often or listening. I'd appreciate it. So guys, that's it. If y'all haven't done so yet, please subscribe, and I'll see y'all and hear y'all next time.